Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in our top left-hand side asdasdasd, henceforth called asdad. He is our blue Masters level Zerg, and I say Masters level with kind of like a raised question mark because he's not been placed in any league. I think the last league that I saw was something like Diamond, I don't know. But he was in Masters at one time, so you give him the benefit of the doubt is basically what you do. Over here we've got the Protoss player, we've got Commander Jason. He is our red Protoss player, but both players have not been placed yet. Rather, I couldn't find Jason on BattleNet just because it's such a normal name. There's so many of them out there. Couldn't find out what league he's in, so again, I'm just going to assume that he's Masters level. It's all good. It's Zerg versus Protoss. It's a fantastic matchup. I love Protoss or Zerg versus any race basically. And so whenever you see that, there's just so many dynamic little gameplay stuff that's thrown in there. It's not a mirror matchup. Terran is obviously my favorite matchup against Zerg, but I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it too. 10 pool coming down from Asdad, so I would not be surprised to see some form of aggression coming out of him. I don't know if it's just a slip up of macro where he forgot to start his Overlord and then threw up the spawning pool, because we'll note that the Overlord was actually started before the spawning pool, I believe. I don't know. Keep an eye on it. It screams to me aggression. And yeah, we have 4 Zerglings being produced right now, but he didn't start up a queen immediately thereafter to get that larva inject up there, and he wasn't exactly banking larva. No, he was because he started that other drone. I don't know. We'll keep an eye out. Unfortunately for him, it looks like it was a Forge First expand coming out from Jason, so he'll probably have that wall off completed, and the Overlord's going to be able to see exactly what's going on with that front door. So it's not the worst thing in the world for Asdad. He'll be able to expand on the back of this. Definitely won't be able to do any damage with his aggressive opening. Queen being produced right now in lieu of another Zergling, so we have that little larva being morphed into a drone instead. So no problem at all. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Coda is the map. It's a big map. It's a big map, especially whatever the probe was capable of coming in and actually seeing what was going on. He got that very important scout, very early scout, I might add. I mean, it was a 10 pool. The probe showed up well before it was actually done, so yeah, it was a nice scout from Jason, being able to come in and see exactly what was going on with the spawning pool. Knowing that he had the wall off completed, he throws down that pylon to block off the natural, and unfortunately that's making it so that Asdad is sitting on more than 400 minerals right now. Really wants to throw down that hatchery. No nexus coming down from Jason, but he definitely is positioning himself like he wants to. He's got that probe just sitting there, double tapping the gas. Hey, no cybernetics core, no warp gate tech on the way just yet. Looks like Jason's going to be going for a tech-based play. 5 drones. Nice job with the hatchery. Going for the 3rd first. He's probably going to be throwing down the natural in just a couple of seconds, but nice 3 hatch opening. No aggressive opening from anybody. We have the nexus going down to the low ground. How are you guys doing? Because yeah, this game's not going anywhere for a while. We got nothing on the the production tab. We've got nothing interesting on the field right now. Just a handful of Zerglings and a cannon at the front door. Jason's not going anywhere. He hasn't even made a unit besides a probe so far. Not even a mothership core, which is just a shame because it's such a powerful unit. You get out that nice energy, start banking it up. You can hold off so much aggressive stuff from Asdad, but whatever. He doesn't need to have to worry about aggression. He's got 2 hatcheries being produced right now. Queen's just now working on that. Poop spread, no gas being tapped at all. Asdad's not looking like he's going to be aggressive either. So I guess we could talk about the map a little bit. 3rd position for Asdad is pretty typical. Moving off to the right side makes it so that your opponent has to sneak by your 3rd base in order to get to your natural base. Kind of locks down some of the drop stuff, especially kind of makes it so you have an early warning system for the Oracle. If you were going for that 3-base play, your saturation at your natural is going to be more significant than your saturation at your 3rd, so that can kind of help. I favor that one over this base for the expansion just because it's so much more wide open. Definitely open just to more possibilities. So your opponent can just basically walk up this massively wide ramp. Not a lot you can do. Favors end and mid-game Roach Hydra play because you have those really nice wide ramps where you can kind of get the concave at the top of the ramp, but beyond that, there's not much in favor of a Zerg, especially early game. The first Zealot that has been made by Jason has made its way out on the field. Oh, we even have that mothership core. Where is she? Oh, over here by the natural, no gas being tapped for the natural, still no gas at all for Asdad. There we go, thank the Lord. I mean, he hasn't even started speed yet, and we're at the 7-minute mark. But plenty of queens. Does he have 3? Yeah, 3 queens, 1 for each hatchery, so he's going to be able to macro incredibly fast. 29, almost 30 to 30 right now for the harvester count. It looks like that Zealot's not long for the world. I forget. Yeah, a Zealot can go toe-to-toe and take out a queen with absolutely no micro. I think the Zealot actually can come out on top of that. But unfortunately for him, the queen had the high ground, was in position with some Zerglings. Yeah, no problem at all. Could wrap up that Zealot. Unfortunately, I do like that whenever the 2 units are so perfectly matched that they fight each other, and then it's kind of a hand's breadth of which one's actually going to win, especially when it's like a SCV against an SCV or a probe or a drone or anything like that. I really feel like they balance the worker combat really well. 3 gateways being thrown down. Robotics facility also tapping another gas. No signs of taking a 3rd just yet, though he did take down those rocks on the north side with 2 sentries. He's still going to be able to control that ramp very, very well. Throwing down some chrono boosts on top of that cybernetics core, and plenty of gas saved up. So I wonder if he's going to throw down a starport, or maybe it's just going to be a robobait in the immediate backside of that robotics facility being constructed. We'll keep an eye out for that. For the 3rd, still no gas, but the natural and main have been tapped, so as that is finally working on some tech burrow, as well as the metabolic boost for the Zerglings. Lair underway also. I'd love to see a Roach Warren. We're approaching that period where if Protoss wanted to get frisky, he could definitely start getting frisky. I mean, we did see all of those gateways being finished up. Warp gate tech was very much delayed, but even that is finishing. I mean, usually you'd see an aggressive push coming in at about the 8-minute mark, even if it's going to be on 2 bases. And really, what has Asdad seen? He's flown by. Okay, he saw the gateways not being made into warp gates just yet, so he knows that a push isn't forthcoming. But on the other side of that, he did see the gateways, so he knows that there, could be signs of aggression. Does he know about this? No, he does not. He sees some units coming over here, and his overlord is going to be poking in there. Probably not going to be surviving with the stalker on that side, but he could probably guesstimate that, yeah, there's going to be expansion here. He does see the he saw the pylon being made on the left side, so he throws down his own 4th. He's going to know about this 3rd. Also is going to know that he's probably very comfortable right now, not having to worry about a push-off, just with Protoss just now taking his 3rd, investing in his economy even more. Probably hasn't been investing too much in producing gateway units, and really there's not a lot of high-tech stuff that you can have that's not going to be coming out of a gateway, or rather a starport, and that Oracle's hasn't been throwing down damage on top of this worker line. Speaking of the worker line, 50 over 64 right now. Asdad in a commanding lead, economically speaking, with that 4th base coming down. Oh, look at that. An Oracle that is hallucinated is coming in here. He's going to know what's up, because a single queen's not enough to stop an Oracle from decimating a probe line, and now that Oracle hasn't killed him, this is simply just scouting from Jason. A very, very nice play. You really want to stay on top of that. +1 range, as well as the Hydra din going down. It looks like it's going to be a Roach Hydra composition. This is something that's incredibly popular in Legacy of the Void right now, just because lurkers are a thing. However, in the current iteration, in HOTS, it's not the most powerful thing in the world. It's definitely a mid to late game timing attack, and it looks like that we're finally going to start seeing some action. I mean, Glial Reconstitution on the way, Hydrogen finishing up, including the Spore Crawler back at home. I wonder if he suspects some shenanigans with like DTs, because we haven't seen any signs of anything coming out of a starport. I mean, he doesn't really have to worry about anything, really. But we know that because we're omnipotent, and I wonder why. He's only making 1. Where was it? Over here at the 3rd. He's only making 1 over at the 3rd. Is that because he's going to be producing his army from his natural and main and keeping it kind of corralled right here? But no, I mean, he can easily defend that 3rd. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, if he was worried about detection, it'd be better to make an overseer just so he can keep that detection with his army. I don't know. I'm stumped. It's definitely not a misclick. I mean, it's definitely something that he's going to be able to use later on. It's always good to have detection, especially whenever it's an outlying base like your 3rd. So I'm not harping on it. I'm just curious as to the decision for that. Why a Spore Crawler? Why only 1 Spore Crawler? Why only at your 3rd? I don't know. Colossus on the way, extended thermal lance, as well as +1 armor. Did he cancel that? No, he did not. It just finishes 1-1 on the ground. We have grooved spine, a Hydralisk range already out. So a lot of tech for both players. I would actually say that Jason has a more commanding army. I mean, these Immortals are going to shred the roaches that that Asdad currently has out on the field, and then that's going to leave these Hydralisks incredibly exposed to the extended thermal lance. That second Colossus is on the production tab. Plenty of gateways being produced, and Jason's also, he's been working on that bank. Asdad has a nice bank, but is quickly approaching supply cap. The thing about Roach Hydra is that it's not very supply efficient. You run out of supply very quickly. And in order for you to excel in this matchup, you've really got to start throwing your units against your opponent, start canceling and punishing that third, keeping your opponent contained on just 2 bases, and making sure that your opponent's Colossus count stays in check. These are incredibly important things, and Asdad is quickly going to get to the point where he's supply capped and is just going to be sitting on a wealth of money. Unfortunately for him, if he does that, the Colossus count is going to climb to critical numbers. I mean, we already have 3 Immortals out on the field, almost 3 Colossi, and just a wealth of Stalkers right now. Not a lot of Zealots, but plenty of force fields, so he's going to be able to provide a little bit of static meat to his army. Vipers on the production tab right now, an excellent play by Asdad. The really crucial thing here is that these ramps are so very, very wide. If Asdad can engage right here and get a nice concave, that's really going to go well for him. Oh, this is beautiful too. Engaging into the Stalkers before the rest of the meat arrive. These Immortals are actually not firing because they're too far back. This is a great engagement for Asdad, but now he needs to absolutely pull back because, like I said, those roaches got torn up very, very quickly. Remember, Stalkers do plus to armor as well as the Immortals, and no, this is terrible. Asdad needs to pull back. Like, oh, this is crazy. He had so many Hydralisks, but there was no meat shield to protect them, and so he kept engaging even though all of his roaches were gone. He didn't have that meat shield. He needed to resupply. I mean, he had 30 roaches on the production tab just a couple of seconds ago. If he had kept his Hydralisks alive, he still would have lost that hatchery, but this time all of these roaches would have been accompanied by a wealth of Hydralisks, and this army would be so much more impressive. As things stand now, Asdad's going to be able to keep Jason away. I mean, Jason's not going to be able to push up into the third, do any more economic damage. In fact, it's really surprising that Jason's sticking around here. A nice grapple from the Vipers, making it so that these Colossi are quickly taken down by those roaches, and with this beautiful, beautiful concave, doesn't matter if they do plus damage to armor, those Immortals do totally fall down, and the Zealots just arrive a little bit too late, but still, look at how beefy they are, surviving this onslaught from all those roaches. Remember that Burrow has been researched, so these Vipers are going to quickly get back up to full health. Unfortunately, this Colossi is remaining alive. No micro to speak of from Asdad. He needs to move his roaches forward. Just take a couple more pot shots to take down those Colossi. Hydralisks arriving just a moment too late, finishing up the party. Pushing back Jason. Again, this was a major win for Asdad. Even though he lost that 4th base, he did succeed in taking down every single one of those Colossi, every single one of those Immortals, and Jason's going to be able to resupply very quickly on gateway units, but not very quickly on robotics facility units. He's only got 1 robo right up, and only 1 more Colossus out, and another one on the production tab, so he's going to be able to get back to where he was, but that's not where he wants to be. He wants to have 5, maybe 6, so that he can start using that Robobait for something else, reproducing those Immortals to deal with these roaches, or more importantly, get out of Warp Prison so he can start doing some harass to keep Asdad away from being aggressive, because Asdad's back up to 152 supply. He's going to spin down all those minerals, all that gas. He's got a 4th base way over here on the right side. He's thinking about, no, he's already taking that 5th base right here. So Asdad is in a good position. Even though he wasn't the aggressor, he was defensive. He defended very well, and he pushed back Jason with just a shamble of his army, and Jason has resupplied with those 3 Colossi, but that's not where he wants to be. He wants to be in a more commanding position. However, upgrade-wise, we have 2-1 for the Protoss buddy, and he's working on that 3rd upgrade. 2 for the Protoss ranged weapons. No armor to speak of, which is interesting. He's got plenty of gas. There's no reason to be not working on that upgrade. Does he agree with me? No, he does not. He's getting out that Spire, so I guess he's got other plans for that gas, realizing that it's kind of dangerous to engage this Colossi count without some Corruptors in the air. Maybe even thinking about transitioning over to Mutas later on, but we'll see. Vipers a plethora of Vipers in the air. Did he keep... I wonder if he lost any of those Vipers, because he was doing a really good job of pulling those Colossi in, and it's pretty difficult to do that. Oh, this could be absolutely brutal. These Colossi completely out of position because there's no meat shield at all to protect them. A lot more Zealots being added into the mix this time. That's going to provide some longevity, making it so these Colossi can do a lot of damage from the range. But with 4 Vipers on the field for Asdad, really those Colossi are, they've got a limited amount of time to be alive. All 4 of them being pulled forward. With 4 of them there, it looks like they can survive a significant period of time. Only 2 of them do go down. The roaches almost completely fall, and Asdad, learning from his previous mistakes, has retreated with his Hydras and is remaxing with those roaches. Excellent play. I like this a lot. This is what I was talking about. He realized his meat shield was down, realized that his Hydras were exposed, retreated immediately, kept them alive. Hydras are worth so much more than those roaches. So easy to resupply with those roaches. It's exactly what he's done. Popped immediately back up to where he needs to be, back up to that 200 supply, and is immediately back on the field being aggressive, not giving Jason a moment's respite. This is perfect. This is exactly what he needs to do. Maybe a Zergling run by down here to the 5th base or 4th base, rather maybe poking into the 3rd, but man, that 3rd is aggressive. Really well defended. So yeah, I guess there's not a lot of openings for Asdad to be aggressive without being, brutal. He can't really be aggressive without his entire army, because this 3rd is going to be a little bit of a tough nut to crack. DT's out on the field. I guess he wishes that detection was here now, but we saw plenty of Overseers have already been produced. So Asdad pushing in here, getting just a brutal concave. Those Colossi get pulled up, immediately picked off by those Hydralisks, and those Hydralisks just go to work on this standing army. Jason plummeting down to 70 supply. Where's the detection? Did that DT go down? He definitely went down. I guess there's detection off to the north side, but I don't want to take my eyes off these Hydralisks, because now is the time for Jason to be aggressive. Resupplying with some Corruptors, a little bit of Roaches on the production tab too. Another DT going to work on the Hive, and there's an Overseer there, so yeah, only needs to send over a handful of these Roaches to actually deal with that. At the same time, there's a run by of Zealots up to the north side, but this is really just Jason being cute, Jason being harassy, and just trying to keep Asdad distracted so that he can't really push in there. And man, with +3 weapons, those Zealots hurt quite a bit. We can see how hard of a time the Spinecrawlers are actually having keeping that in check. Did anything go down here? A lot of hit points from the Hive did fall, but the 3 Roaches were enough to take down that DT. At the same time, some Roaches burrowed, moving off down to the left side. He knows about this, right? Yeah, okay. Sees the photon cannons from a well-positioned Overlord. Off to the north side. Is there anything else? It looks like a probe train coming over here. Nothing really. A couple Roaches being cute. On the right side here, maybe expecting an expansion here. It looks like Jason was expecting an expansion also, because he's got a probe position to build a nexus there, but with a Zealot burrowed, Zergling burrowed, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to throw down an expansion just yet. Let's look at the economy. Main is completely mined out. Natural is getting there. It's getting there. And so Jason's going to start feeling the hurt on his economy. At the same time, Zerg has been spread out so much that his main's not even mined out. Greater Spire on the way also. He has produced a couple of Corruptors, not a lot of Mutas, if any. No. Oh, this was a great play by Asdad, unburrowing his Roaches just in the nick of time. Really great unit control. The Photon Cannon just now finishing, so he's just now got detection. He is going to end up losing every single one of those Roaches, but just once again, the most important thing for Asdad to keep in check is that Colossi count. And are there any Colossi out on the field? None. Oh wow, that's the sign of a sick Protoss right there. 2 Archons, 13 Stalkers, and that is it. And once again, Jason is having no problem spending his money, no problem resupplying with his gateway units. However, he's having a big problem producing these Colossi because he's only got 1, and he's not doing a good job keeping them alive. Example A, right here. Colossi goes down. Asdad's doing a fantastic job with unit control, a fantastic job of harassment, is doing a Roach one ride. This is what I was talking about earlier with harassing with some Roaches, buying some time for your main army to move in. This is pretty poor unit control here, making it so that his Hydras are kind of getting stuck up on the ramp. But with the upgrades of 3-1 right now, working on that armor upgrade, Carapace level 2. And those Roaches pushing in here, taking out that DT. I think Jason is quickly approaching the point where he's just going to all in just for the heck of it. These Corruptors not really earning their position in the army right now because there's not a lot of air units for them to take down. Even the Colossi count has been kept in check to the point where he doesn't really need those Corruptors. So I don't know if he's regretting building them or if he's going to transition them into Broodlords, because he does, there we go, 9 Broodlords being produced right now. He does have that Greater Spire. This is definitely something that can be used to combat this ground army, but really anything that Asdad wants to produce could easily take out this ground army. And he can easily afford to lose this 5th base because it's his 5th base. Look at this massive bank. Jason is doing a lot of damage by pushing in here. Don't get me wrong. I mean, hatchery's a hatchery, but really, Asdad's just buying time. He's remaking those Broodlords off to the north side of this, and as soon as Jason wants to move down here, he's going to be welcomed to the arms of these Broodlords. 66 Zerglings being produced, and that's just so that Asdad can stem the tide of this. Really, at the same time, the Roaches are going to town on the infrastructure back at home. In fact, taking out more than a handful of those gateways. Zerglings and Broodlords arrive at the exact same time. The Archons almost completely go down. Blinking underneath the Broodlords, usually a very good idea. However, with Vipers in the area, being able to throw down their blinding cloud, making it so that those Stalkers really can't shoot up. Jason does tap out, which is a shame. This was a fantastic game. I mean, no GG at all for a 28-minute game. Obviously, there was no early pressure. It's not like anybody held off a rush or a cheese or anything like that. This was just your standard run-of-the-mill macro slugging match, and I feel like Jason was outplayed by Asdad in a lot of different ways. I mean, Asdad had fantastic harassment later on, but he knew exactly what unit composition he wanted to build into, and he cut corners in order to get to that and wasn't punished by Jason. He went for those 3 hatcheries. He did get that spawning pool very early, but in reality that was kind of a deficit to him because he didn't have that extra money. He could have gotten out a hatchery just a little bit earlier, and that wasn't punished by Jason. Maybe even a cannon rush, because Jason did go and build that forge first, so he had that tech available to him. But instead of being aggressive, Jason set back on 2 bases, eventually 3 bases. Didn't do a good job of keeping his high-priced units alive, like the Colossi and the Immortals, and ultimately fell to Asdad's superior micro of less important units. You know what else is important to me? People who watch my videos. So thank you for that. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Big and Scary.